So this is deck building of mission cards. So you're, I prefer missions over jutsus personally, from my personal experience. So there's counter missions, which are really good because you can play them on your opponent's turn, which is really good. So having mission cards that you can't use on your turn and you use on your opponent's turn as well is very useful, since you can only play one mission per turn. The ability to play a mission on your turn and then play a mission on your opponent's turn, gives you advantages, obviously. As you can see, this is a quiet day. It has an entrance cost of 1, an entrance of 1, 0 hand cost. And because there's 0 hand cost, you can splash in any deck. It's just a turn 1 card, which means you can't play it on turn 0, but you can play turn 1 and above. So that's as early as you can play it is turn 1. Now, if this did have a turn 0 capabilities, that would have been awesome. The fact that it has no hand cost, that means this is free of charge. You just play it. So not only can you splash it in any deck, you can just play it. As long as it's turn 1 and above, you can play it. Has permanent 1, so it won't. Permanent means it will be on the field for a while before it goes into the chakra area. Since it has permanent 1, it means it will last for a turn before it goes to the chakra area. So it'll be there for a turn, doing its thing. As you can see, its effect is negate the effect text of all ninjas. That includes your ninjas and your opponent's ninjas. But you more likely already use your ninja's abilities on your turn. Then on your opponent's turn, you activate this and play it on your opponent's turn. Now, for the whole turn, all his ninjas, all their effect texts are negated. So you don't have to worry about, them using any effect to do anything to you. Moving on. So that's a counter mission. This is a permanent mission. Now that was a counter mission that also was a counter permanent. So there's those types. This is just a permanent. So there's no time limit for this card. Has entrance of 1, so can't play turn 0, but you can play turn 1. No hand cost, so of course you can splash it in any deck. Because if it had a hand cost, you would have to pay 1 lightning in order to play it. So you have to splash in some extra lightning in order to use this card, or to put it in specifically in a lightning base deck. But since this has 0 hand cost, you can splash it in any deck. It's called a good book. Exchange of Jutsu and Mission. And since it doesn't say attacker, it means you can use it on your turn and your opponent's turn. So it's always good to have something that will constantly be there for you to keep using. So you always, these are my favorite types of cards, the cards that stay on the field and allows me to use their abilities more than once. So remove a card in your hand from the game, and then you can move up to 2 cards that share at least 1 symbol with that removed card from your discard pile to your chakra area. So it's a good way of reusing your chakra. So obviously this is a card I like to splash into a lot of decks, because every deck can utilize chakra for effects or other mission cards, or even to play jutsus. But typically I use it for like effects. Moving on. Alright, this is a permanent that has, as you can see, it has a cost of any 2 chakra that can only be played during a mission, yours or your opponent's. Target ninja gets +++ during this turn. So that's really good. Most cards. Well, not most cards. Every card, as far as I know, you can only use their abilities once per turn. Like you're expected to know that. You're expected to know that like every card you can only use their abilities once per turn. I play Magic among other card games, but I'm used to like when I see something that says pay 2, do an effect. Well, I automatically assume I could do it more than once. Now in this game, it's implied from what I've seen online that you can only use these abilities once. Unless the card specifically states you can use the effect more than once, it's implied you can only use it once that turn. So this effect you can only use once on your turn, once on your opponent's turn. You get the idea. Me personally, I see it as long as I can keep paying chakra, I can keep doing its ability, which would be really, really strong if I could do that. I could make really powerful teams real quick and get a lot of, outstanding victories and get a lot better rewards and win relatively fast. But that's nor here nor there. Now, if I'm wrong and I can't use it more than once, let me know in the comment section, because I would love to use that card more than once. But or any effect similar to that. But anyway, moving on. Here's a mission card that does have one hand cost, and it doesn't have permanent or counter, so it's just a normal mission card. You see it has two elements, so either you pay one win or one lightning for the hand cost. And the way you pay hand cost, that you mentioned that, is you take a card from your hand and you put it into your chakra area. So that's the thing, you're putting a card from your hand into a chakra area that is the same symbol as one of the symbols that's on the mission card you're playing. So in this case, this has lightning and wind. You either put a lightning card from your hand into your chakra area or a wind card from your hand to a chakra area in order to play this. Since this is not a counter card, you can only play on your turn, and you can only play one mission per turn. So there's that. Then we have some permanent cards that have X. This one has X in its hand cost, as well as X in its permanent. And so it obviously implies here that based off of how many cards, in this case it'll be win, how many win cards you put in your chakra area from your hand when you play this card, is how many turns you'll get with this card's effect. So you're paying based off of your the hand cost you pay determines how long this permanent will stay on the field. So if you pay 3 cards, this will be a permanent 3. If you pay 1 card, it's a permanent 1. Pay 2 cards, a permanent 2. You get the idea. So it lasts as long as you determine it will last. Alright, in the card's effect, players cannot move their turn counters. So this is a very interesting card. This would have been really nice if this was a counter mission. That would have been nice. Counter permanent mission. That would have been pretty cool. Very cool. What's weird about this is that you have, if you pay no hand cost, that I don't know. If you pay no hand cost, but I guess because it's actually would have to at least pay a minimum of 1, so at least 1 hand cost for this card. But it kind of looks like I could pay 0, and then this won't last no longer than 1 turn. Well, it won't last at all. Like you'll play it, and then that's it. It'll go to the chakra area, and it won't do much. Like players can't move their turn marker, but it has to stay on the field in order to prevent the turn marker changing. Because turn markers only happen during your end phase. So during your end phase or your opponent's end phase is when the turn markers go up. This is to prevent that. That's why this would have been pretty cool as a counter permanent. But anyway, as you can see, there are X mission cards. So I'm trying to show you as many of the different mission cards you can look into and play. I prefer missions, permanents, counters and permanents. Those are the types of missions I like the most, is the counters and the permanent ones, or the counter permanents. Because they're best of both worlds, right? As you can see, this has a hand cost. It's a counter permanent. Its abilities are relevant. It's just about the whole that is a counter permanent that has a hand cost. And so far the permanent cards abilities, the permanent number tends to go up to 4. So far I haven't seen anything higher yet than 4. Obviously with this one, the X, you could do higher. You could do 5, 6 cards and make this a permanent 6. But so far, on average, most are permanent 1s, 2s, or 3s, and then sometimes you see maybe a 4. But on average, you know, you just want the straight up permanent ones. I mean, yeah, permanent ones. And there are counters that aren't permanent. I don't have a counter here that's permanent. I'm just showing off this one that's both counter and permanent, but there are some counter ones that aren't permanent, so you just play them right there and then and counter whatever you need to counter. You react to whatever you need to react to. Usually they have a hand cost. I could try get you one. Let's see. See, this one has a hand cost. It's a counter. Discard one in-play client card, so that's decent. So you could play this on your opponent's turn and get rid of their client card. Now this doesn't negate the client card, so if the client card had a come into play effect or something, it won't negate the client card's ability, but you can get rid of it. But most client cards have like continuous effects, so being able to destroy it is useful. And see, there's another kind of permanent. So you get the idea. But some do negate. So there's that. Some do negate whatever they're trying to negate, whether it be a mission, a jutsu, you know, a ninja effect. As you can see in this one, you can negate the effects of all attacks of all ninjas. But since it's a permanent, that's why it allows it to continuously keep doing it. You know, you can wait until your opponent plays a ninja to activate the ninja's effect, and then play this as a response in order to negate that ninja's ability. And then for the rest of the turn, since this will still be on the field, since it's a permanent, it'll continue to keep negating not only that ninja's abilities, but any other ninjas that are played that turn's abilities. Let's see. I thought I put one in here. Must be in another video, but I forgot. There are some missions that have abilities while they're in the graveyard. The chakra area. The mission phase. Yeah, this one has that effect. That's what it was. I forgot to mention this part of the card. That's why this was in here. Was during your you see its second effect, during your mission phase, if this card is in your chakra area, you can remove it from the game. In that case, place one growth coin on a sand or leaf ninja. So as you can see, some missions have a chakra effect. So you play them, use their whatever ability they have, which will in this case would be its first effect, which is to draw 2 cards, then move 1 card from your hand to your chakra area. And then this will go to your chakra area after you finish resolving that effect. And then while it's in your chakra area, during your mission phase, not your opponent's, just yours, if this card is in your chakra area, then you can remove it from the game and then get it, you know, get the secondary effect. So there are some mission cards that have chakra area effects, which are always worth looking into. Always look out for those types of cards. This one, Bonds of Friendship, is obviously relatively good for that, because it has a decent effect in the chakra area, plus the drawing effect is always good. It's always good to draw. You want to draw into your good stuff, obviously. Not much else to point out here. Obviously there's other mission cards that are of a higher cost. A lot of these in here are lower cost mission cards. You typically want to look for mission cards that are low cost, like low entrance cost, preferably 0 hand cost, so that would at least be splashable in any deck you want. Because if you're using it as a tech card, like, you know, obviously this is a nice little negate you can just throw in any deck, so that could be a staple. A good book, generic enough, you could have it as a staple. So I always try to look for some generic stuff. Like here, this you can use 2 of any chakra. Doesn't have to be earth or anything like that. So this is obviously generically splashable. So that's the kind of stuff you want to do. Just look for, you know, generic cards that can be put in any deck. But of course there are going to be some specific cards that specifically help you out. They're for specific decks. You already would be able to figure that out cards that let you search, cards that let you draw, and so forth and so forth. For now, this will be the end of the video. Just want to show the different options of mission cards you can use. I prefer counters and permanents, so I would recommend that for you to play the same. That's the end of the video.